Jerry Rafferty, Baker Street. Good music, good weather. Doing a good job, I hope. Anyways, what are we doing? Well, let me turn that off. We're Einbocking. I thought this was an interesting place to stop because we're looking at the field that was alfalfa last year, a very disappointing crop. Less than a bale to the acre. Waste of diesel mowing it and baling it, really. So it was ploughed this spring and put into barley. And today we're Einbocking, and I'll just show you one or two things. Come on, Sally, let's go. Come on, there you go. Well, this is what soil, or what the ground looks like after Einbocking. It's nice and loose. You can see how the plants have been just pushed down a bit and partially covered with soil. If you flick them, they come back up again. And there wasn't an awful lot of weed in this field, but a terrific cap. And there was water standing in the field. You can see a spot here that the Einbocking missed because it's a low-lying area. Water was sitting there. And we'll look at this over here. You can see a few weeds here. There's a few more here, tiny ones. But look at this. Can you hear that? Terrific cap on the soil. Here, you can see the rows, quite distinct rows, but water was lying in the bottoms of the ridges, in the furrows, I guess. Not really furrows. Anyway, in the depressions, water was sitting there. We had a terrific amount of rain, which I mentioned in the previous video, the intro. But this field suffered pretty badly. This is the last field that I drilled. It was drilled on the 3rd of June. Water sat on here for a while. Nothing happened. Nothing moved. Then it had another dose of rain. Same thing happened. It came up weakly. It was very yellow. The germination in here was better than the other field. Although I would have said that that this field had suffered a little more. But the barley's behind. It should be taller than this, but it just got hammered with that weather. So that's what it looks like before it's been Einbocked. And this is what it looks like after. Not quite as destructive as it does look sometimes. But anyway, well on the way to recovery, I think. The yellowness is gone. Or some of it has. Most of it has. What I'm finding is that fields that are ploughed in the fall seem to suffer less from nitrogen deficiency than fields that are ploughed in the spring. So that's what I'm going to aim to do from now on. If I'm going to rip up any alfalfa fields, I'm going to try to do them the year before that I want to put them into barley or wheat, whatever. Over here we've got another field, and this is spring wheat. This was drilled 14th of May and Einbocked 2 weeks later. And that evening we had the deluge. And I thought I'd killed it. I thought it was finished. I'd been pretty aggressive on this. And if you look at these barley plants, they're quite robust and strong. But when this wheat came through, it was a much more delicate plant, and I had my reservations about hitting it with the Einbock, but I thought, what the hell, went for it. Knocked a lot of it down onto the ground, and that night we had a deluge, and it stayed flat for a while. The plants didn't grow up through the soil. Some of them stayed down there. I think you can see it in places. If you look here, these leaves are still trapped in the soil, and the cap is keeping them down. So I think what happened was that the plants tillered out and left these leaves behind, which are still down in the soil. Plant didn't die, but it tillered out and carried on growing. I think we got a good kill of weeds in here. You can just see one or two little ones coming back, but it's been a good what was it, at least 2 weeks since this was Einbocked. And the plants at the time were not very big, about this big, and they're 3 times as big right now. As you look across the field, you can see different shades of green. That wasn't there before. That, I think, is stress from all the rain. If we look at the yellow areas, there's one here. It's a more open area, heavily capped. Another one there, heavily capped. If we look at a bright green area, the soil is a little softer there. So I think the water was able to drain away in these softer areas. If you look down the field, you can't really see any evidence of wheelings or anything like that. So I think it's purely stress. But I'm really happy with this field. I'm really happy. Very few weeds in evidence. If you look across the top, you can't see any weed plants. You can't see anything heading out. I'm really happy, and a reasonable plant population, I think. Hope it doesn't grow too tall, because it is quite. Even now, it is quite a spindly plant. This is a variety called Park, which is a heritage variety. And I went for this because I thought, well, we might get a premium in terms of price we get for it. And also because it was bred before the days of heavy fertilizer and sprays. So it was bred with that in mind, with this kind of management in mind. So I hope it's going to work out. Hard to find old varieties that were bred for these kind of conditions. Anyway, there we go. The little brown stripe is kind of a buffer zone. This was barley last year. That is barley this year. I didn't want any disease or pest carrying on, so I just stopped that area. Hopefully that'll work. Anyway, it's a help. But yeah, this is that 55 acre field of barley that was last year, that was disked and cultivated to get rid of the quackgrass, and which it mostly has. But there is quackgrass in 2 or 3 areas, but not the whole field like it used to be. So you're probably wondering if it was going to be alright without Einbocking, if I've gone to a lot of trouble for nothing. Well, I've just seen 3 weeds over there. But let me show you something. Let me show you this. I had a breakdown with the machine, and blew a tyre. And I had to wait for an expensive tyre to be ordered in. And it just happened to blow right here, so I left it there. When it came time to cultivating, disking and drilling, I went round it. So, if we did not work the land down, seed it and Einbock it, this is what it would look like. All kinds of weeds. Sow thistle, dandelion. Oh, other stuff that I don't recognise. I'm not a weed expert. But quite the contrast, I think. You know, just look down that headland there. You can see all the weeds here. And then back there it's clean. So those are the results of hard work and trying to grow a clean crop. And I think it pays off. So there we are. A 155 acre wheat field, a 90 acre barley field, a little brown field you can see over there. That is an old pasture, an old meadow I've ploughed up and seeded for a green manure crop. I'll do a video on that when it's grown up a bit more. But so things are happening on the farm. Stuff is growing, work is getting done. Beautiful part of the farm. I love it down here. I think this is a great place. It reminds me of part of Nottinghamshire called the Dukeries, which is a place where all the dukes and earls used to live, that was landscaped mainly for their sporting purposes, like hunting and shooting and what have you. But anyway, that's what this place reminds me of. Nice open fields, trees bordering the fields. Good place for a gallop if you were into horses. Good place to hunt and shoot. You can imagine a stately home over there. But thank goodness there isn't one. We left all them dukes and earls and all that nonsense back in Britain. Anyway, there it is. Farming in northern Canada in the summer, in the sunshine. Hope you've enjoyed watching the video. Look after yourselves. Make sure you look after one another. Be good. If you can't be good, be careful. Talk to you next time. Bye bye.